Broadcasting live from the mixed up world of Hyrule. This is the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament here on the Go Mode Podcast channel. Hello, everybody. My name is DrBobtastic, and joining me today on commentary is Dannymusic. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well, Dr. Bob. Looking forward to seeing some great randomizer shenanigans, maybe even including the boots.
I mean, those could happen. They're certainly not guaranteed, let's put it that way.
What are those?
Exactly. So I hope everybody's having a good day today. This is the 6th week of the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament. And it's called the Mentor Tournament because usually the runners will have some sort of coach in the background kind of giving them advice and telling them where to go. But this is not the case this week. This is the 6th week and it is mentorless and it's open mode. So our runners are going to be starting from, well, wherever they want to. And who knows where they'll end up going. And they're doing this all on their own this week. The training wheels are off, so to speak.
Yep, this is a chance for the runners to really show what they've learned, what they've been working on for the previous 6 weeks, the previous 5 matches. And so far, it seems that they've learned a lot. Both of them are 4-1 and looking to extend that stretch of victories.
Yeah, so with a record of 4-1, both of them stand to, perhaps make it into the gold sword bracket, but higher, better placement here would increase that probability to basically guaranteed. 5-1, I'm pretty sure puts you in that bracket no matter what.
Mm-hmm. And we're already seeing a little bit of route diversions as the race gets underway. Khaja opting to start at Link's house and then throw the sign. Unfortunately, doesn't get to throw the sign against the blue guard, but will head up and check the sewer items. RickyofKokiri starts from the sanctuary and looks to be heading up to do a Aghanim check and a tree pull before going into Kakariko first. Some nice red rupees from that tree pull.
And free bombs from the uncle, not bad. So what are your feelings on Uncle Start versus not Uncle Start?
I think that Uncle Start has a nice consistency to it. Usually you'll be able to, if you don't find bombs already, you'll be able to get enough money from the 2 treks and the tree pull to be able to afford to purchase bombs. And in Khaja's case, this also works out because they found a bottle in Link's house and will be able to check the sick kid as soon as they get to Kakariko there.
Yeah, but let's talk slightly more important. The Moon Pearl was sitting in the chest in Uncle's tunnel there, so that's going to be a pretty big deal. It doesn't always turn out to be a big deal. Personally, I don't really like going to Uncle unless I can also clear out Hyrule Castle with it, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is such an early check as a Sphere 1 location that you'd think that Ricky wouldn't be there before too long, and possibly by the time Ricky gets to that point, Ricky will have enough items to then just do the left side of Hyrule Castle when they get over. But it looks like they're going to be getting to Kakariko Village about at the same time, with plenty of money. Khaja already has bombs. Ricky would still need to purchase them, or perhaps gamble on finding bombs in Blind's hut.
Yeah, you could go either way, but it looks like Ricky is going to head for the shop real quick. Going to go to the back of the tavern first, of course. Sounds like we got some Zelda 2 music going on from Ricky here.
Mm-hmm. And Fire Rod in the back of the tavern. That could potentially be relevant for the Light World dungeons of Hera and Desert Palace. We haven't seen a map check from either of these runners yet. But of course we know Fire Rod is definitely relevant for Turtle Rock and for Skull Woods. And potentially Ice Palace too. Okay, Blind's Hut not having anything of note other than the shovel. Khaja's going to make their way to the back. Continues to be nothing of note other than the shovel.
A red boomerang on the bottle vendor there. Now the shovel, that is kind of an interesting thing because I'm not going to lie, I would probably forget that I picked up the shovel in Kakariko. So we'll see if our runners will actually remember to do that at the end of this. Hello.
Ooh, mirror is a relevant find. Flute. Very convenient place to find the flute. They can just pop right over and activate it. And that'll make getting around a lot easier for these runners. Flute is my favorite item to find early.
Oh yeah, much faster movement everywhere.
It also makes it easier to do some checks that are traditionally quite out of the way, such as Ice Rod Cave and Agina's Cave.
Right. And they're just as likely to contain progression as anything else in Kakariko Village, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Khaja activating the flute there. Let's see what's in the chicken hut here, but as Kokiri goes to activate the flute here, I may have something prepared.
Ooh. Khaja
So for the
accidentally wasted the bomb in the chicken hut. We'll have to go down and buy them.
Alright, I will leave that alone then. Alright, Fire Rod again for Khaja. And we'll go see what is in the library. That is Piece of Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And race game or not to race game.
Ricky-Op's not to race game. It's a difficult call. I go either way on it. Usually if I have a way of dealing with mini Moldorms other than bombs, then that makes me more inclined to just do race game and get it over with. But Ricky tries to skip it there, realizes that they don't want to.
It's like, how about no?
And we'll see if Ricky remembers to check that shovel spot right after this.
Yeah, because this is basically the best time to do it. Yeah, you kind of want that. Swords are important.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, now we've got Link's Awakening music. So, we're mixing Link's Awakening with Zelda 2. I'm okay with it.
Very, very retro music. Link's Awakening was the first game of the Zelda franchise that I've ever played, so always partial to it.
Nice. It was the first one I ever beat.
Alright, Ricky does indeed remember that shovel spot, only a piece of heart. Khaja looks like is going to be skipping it for now. Flutes on over to 4, and does remember to check out the shovel spot, but approaching it from the other end. So we have a quick map check from Ricky. I saw that Eastern was a pendant. I saw that Hera was the one crystal. Didn't see what desert was.
It appeared that desert was also a crystal. From what
Okay.
Yeah. And we're rescuing the old man in the dark, like you do.
Fortunately, having a sword to light the way makes it a bit easier. But yeah, Ricky opting right for the Death Mountain play. Not too much that can be done on Death Mountain, but if you find an item that could create an advantage super early, then it's a worthwhile gamble to make.
Khaja was attempting to do the block deletion in the dam here, but was slightly unable to do so.
Yeah, not a huge time loss, but that's always a bummer.
Ooh, hello. Yeah, literacy. Soggy literacy.
I think the library might not appreciate getting their book back. It was not returned in the condition it was found in.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to pay for that one.
Okay,
With
Ricky,
that mirror, yeah.
Ricky is opting to do Hera early, which makes sense, given that Hera, we know, is a crystal. The Moldorm fight will be a bit more tricky with only the fighter sword, but, I mean, it's vanilla, so that should be fine.
I mean, fighter sword Moldorm is not something I, want to do, but I can if I have to.
Yeah. Khaja, in the meantime, finds the hook shot.
Mm-hmm. And also finds a very significant amount of money in there, which gets them that much closer to being able to check Zora if they want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Moon Pearl, doing the fake flippers strategy to check Zora is more palatable there. But it looks like Khaja is going to be making their way to Sahasrara's Closet and Eastern Palace. The nice thing about finding the hook shot in Mini Moldorm Cave is when Khaja does decide to climb Death Mountain, they'll be able to check out the treasure trove that is East Death Mountain right away.
Yeah, good old Paradox Cave plus a Spiral Cave check.
And actually, it looks like they decided to do that now, but unfortunately takes a death to one of the dead rocks.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's what the flute's for. You can just get back there anytime you want.
Yeah.
I do feel like if I was going to head over to Eastern area at all, I would at least want to check the closet before I left, but, sometimes you just realize, oh, I can do this thing, and then you just bail.
Yeah.
So Ricky is on a single heart. I expect him to pick some hearts up here on these pots, yes, and go for the good old Moldorm fight. 6 hits here.
Yeah. Khaja getting dead rocked in one of the worst places, because you have to continue to dodge the actual rocks while waiting for the dead rock to spin. Ricky is doing some nice sword spins on Moldorm here,
which make absolutely no difference. Uh-oh. Ooh.
Getting a little dangerous.
There we go.
Does a good job of parrying their way out of the corner, and Moldorm is down, and with that we have our first crystal drawing first blood in less than 12 minutes.
Sounds good. Now, in Zelda 2, you start with all the crystals, and then you get rid of them. So he's doing the opposite of his music. Oh, Khaja taking a death from another dead rock on East Death Mountain. That's just a huge pain.
Yeah. Having only 3 hearts is making that Death Mountain check a lot more difficult, and it looks like Khaja is deciding to go back to their original plan of Sahasrara's Closet and Eastern Palace now.
And Ricky is going to go have a wait here in the tile room.
Good time to relax, think, meditate about what you're doing, think about what routes you want to go to next.
We see that Thieves Town is our green pendant from Sahasrara. And that's just a load of garbage in the closet there.
Unfortunately, that check did not work out for Khaja. Thieves Town being the green pendant is interesting. There are 4 items inside it, and it's relatively easy to access, relatively short to complete, and having that green pendant makes it all the more valuable for doing so.
Alright, Ricky will finally be heading for South Shore. And he is remembering to change to the mirror here.
Khaja, armed with that additional heart, is going to make their way through the Dead Rocks and through the east side of Death Mountain with no problem.
Yeah, and of course he doesn't get hit at all once he's got the heart back.
Yeah.
Because that's how you do that. Khaja has not rescued the old man just yet. Alright, Paradox Cave for Khaja. Dropping bombs all over the place.
Yeah, those Moldorms look like they were blitzing Khaja. They were out for blood there. Gotta be a little careful with only 1 heart remaining.
Yeah. If I were Khaja, I probably would have busted out the hook shot there. Anyways, a Master Sword now available for Khaja.
Yep.
Which is I would say, significantly better weapon to use against Moldorm.
Yes. It makes dealing with Moldorm a lot easier. Khaja opting to go to the shop that is in this part of Death Mountain to get some heart
10
pack.
rupees on a heart. That's what I was thinking. Because I'm like, that is basically, for the love of God, somebody shut off that beeping. Also, if you don't get this heart, you can't do this bomb jump.
Yep. Good awareness of Khaja to not try the bomb jump with only 1 heart remaining. And gets it no problem. Ricky, in the meantime, is going into Desert Palace, which may or may not be boots locked, but is definitely glove locked, but we can still see what items we find.
Yeah. Apparently, according to our chat, there is another sword on Desert Ledge, so that'll get us all the way to Tempered Sword. And we are boots locked out of desert. So you remember when you were asking for the boots? Well, they're gonna happen.
They're gonna happen sometime.
In before Turtle Rock.
The race that I commented yesterday ended up coming down to the big key was on the torch in Ganon's Tower, and the boots were elsewhere in Ganon's Tower. Ooh. So sometimes the 1 in 22 does happen, and sometimes you just need the boots earlier than that. Ricky is going to pick up that sword. Also has to be careful, this seed is not that great about giving them health early on. Making their way across the desert to do Agina's Cave now, and being very careful to dodge the mudmen and the buzzards along the way. Khaja, in the meantime, looks like they are going to be doing Tower of Hera, and will anticipate a much easier Moldorm fight than Ricky had. With that Master Sword.
Not gonna lie, kind of expecting a lamp and having to do the Aga play here.
Yeah, without gloves or hammer, and with the presence of Master Sword, it does seem to be looking that way.
I mean, neither of our runners have gone for, like, the actual escape play here. So, yeah.
Neither of our runners have checked Ice Rod Cave yet, either, and both of them have enough money for King Zora now, although that is not technically in logic.
That's certainly not going to stop someone, especially if you're trying to get around having to do the Aga 1 play. Khaja's also going to get to check Ether Tablet, which
ends up being the lamp. Wow.
Oh,
so that's big. Now Khaja has Aghanim access when they want to, and will be able to get through the Dark World that way. That tablet check is a bit isolated for Ricky since they didn't have the Master Sword when they went up to Tower of Hera the first time, but there could still be Dark World access another way through Hyrule Castle, Ice Rod Cave, and perhaps the Fake Flippers things.
But yeah, if Ricky ends up, if that doesn't happen, then Ricky's probably going to end up last locationing that lamp.
Mm-hmm. Khaja with the hookshot is setting up for Herapot.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there is an item in the basement. I don't recall where the other item was. I'm not sure if it was on the big chest or not.
Looks like maybe. Yeah, I think so because the map was on Moldorm.
Okay,
That
it
was
wasn't.
a great palace.
It was in the big chest, and a very nice bomb jump to get to that.
All right, into the Dark Escape or Dark Cross Room with a fire rod. Words are hard.
And Ricky decides to mirror out before continuing on to the back of Escape. I would have been tempted to keep going to the back, just because of those 3 items, and we haven't found gloves yet.
Yeah, what was that? The small key that you just picked up?
That was the small key in the Dark Cross Room chest.
Yeah, I would have definitely continued there because of the small key.
But Ricky sees it differently, and will make their way using the mirror to check the left side of Escape as well.
Well, anybody here who is a fan of bees, this is your seed. We got bees for days. Well, it would make sense to be uncomfortable killing the key rat in the dark if you didn't have the fire rod. But the fire rod, you can light a torch and then you're fine. And Khaja will also go for the basement play. There's really no reason not to in this case, especially if you're trying to avoid the Aga play.
Yeah, we'll see at what point Khaja decides to do Aghanim's Tower. Perhaps they'll decide to use go do some of the Hyrule Castle things like Ricky is, or perhaps do what they can in Eastern Palace, now having found that lamp. But it is looking like an Aga Seed right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like Ricky is going to go back and clear Escape.
Yeah, it's valid. It's a way of doing it. So, somebody's going nuts on the improv with the Great Palace theme there.
Khaja opting to look at Desert Palace instead. Won't be able to complete it yet, but will be able to pick up a Tempered Sword.
definitely on board with Tempered Sword.
Yeah.
It's almost ridiculous how much easier things like Agate Tower are with Tempered Sword versus Master.
Yeah, there's definitely a very big jump in quality of life, especially when killing those Dark World enemies. And especially when killing Ganon, too.
Alright, Back of Escape. This is an in-logic play. Because of the advanced logic situation, we've got a map, we've got 3 hundo, and we've got Big 20. So that's going to do it for the Back of Escape.
Yep, Ricky gets the bad news there. And we'll see what Ricky decides to do next.
Yeah, he's definitely heading back up to Death Mountain because he's still got to do Paradox Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the problem is he's going to head over to Paradox Cave. And because there's no hammer, he won't be able to cross directly to Ether Tablet where the lamp is.
Right, that's still a difficult play for Ricky to make at this point. Fortunately, Paradox Cave, other than a sword, doesn't really open up too many other options.
Yeah. One of our runners might opt to go for the fake flipper over to Zora and or the Waterfall Cave and Hobo in hopes of maybe picking up some Dark World access items. But I mean, we're still missing the hammer and the glove. So the odds of getting both are so small, I think it's worth just going to Aga 1.
Yeah, and it looks like that is what Khaja is doing. At the very least, they're going to Hyrule Castle. We'll see. Perhaps this could be a Hyrule Castle, make your way out of Zelda's Cell, mirror, and then do Aghanim play? Or make your way to the back, clear all of the escape sequence, and then do Aghanim?
I mean, that's actually, a perfectly reasonable play in my opinion. You just clear this out, see if you can get the things, and you're probably going to clear it out anyway while you're here, just in case something important is here.
Yeah, we also haven't seen any of the runners do fake flippers things or the Eastern Palace checks that they can. So there are still some other options available. But yeah, personally I agree that if it was me, I see the lamp, I see the sword, and I would just be inclined to bite that bullet and do Aghanim.
Ricky is saving and quitting out of Spiral Cave, as we know that's going to bother him, but he is starting again from Mountain Cave, so maybe he's just going back up the mountain.
Yeah, this could be the Ether Tablet check. It certainly looks that way. And that will get Ricky the lamp, and we'll see what they decide to do after that. So fortunately, Ricky didn't end up last locationing the lamp, despite Ether Tablet being so isolated at that point.
Alright, so Khaja has now grabbed the front of Escape and is going to head to Dark Cross. If I'm Khaja, I'm hoping to not find the key here so that I can just proceed on. But I'm going to find the key, so I'm going to have to keep going, get the things in the back, and then mirror and go back to Aga 1.
Mm-hmm. Ricky picks up that lamp, flutes the 4, is heading towards the back. Ricky is going to be doing some Aghanim. And Khaja likely won't be too far behind.
So yeah, I fully expect there to be something interesting, either in Palace of Darkness itself or on the pyramid, though. And I kind of like this route from our runners here. Once you go to the dark, Khaja not mirroring.
Khaja decides to save and quit. We'll start from the house.
Maybe he's gonna go to like Ice Rod Cave and some other junk. Oh, he's gonna rescue.
Oh, checking the old man.
But yeah, you're gonna be able to combine Pod and Eastern at the same time with the mirror while you're over there. So that I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes up a little bit of time from having to do AGA 1.
And they still don't have a lift upgrade or the hammer, which prevents catfish and some of the checks to the west side of the Dark World.
Yeah, you could reach West Dark World if you had a lift upgrade, a hammer, or the flippers, which is a slightly lesser known application.
That's right. But unfortunately, we have none of those things right now. Still, the way that this is turning out, I do find it likely that Pod or Pyramid will have something. And if indeed that is not the case, then you can just mirror and do what you can in Eastern a while. Ice Rod Cave with the Butter Sword. All 4 swords accounted for right away. Enemies, you better look out.
We are officially in glass cannon mode. And Khaja is going for the fake flipper play here.
We have found more swords than we did heart containers so far, 30 minutes in.
Wow.
Alright, Ricky on to the blue ball boss. And Khaja does elect to do the fake flippers checks after Ice Rod Cave. Finding that Butter Sword isn't quite as much of an improvement over Tempered Sword as Tempered Sword is over Master Sword. Hobo providing the Sanctuary Heart there. Nonetheless, Butter Sword is a nice little advantage to find, and Khaja will be able to at least see everything that is in the Zora area.
Just another heart on the Lake Hylia Island as Ricky reaches the Dark World at 31 minutes and 50 seconds. We've got our map check. 5 and 6 are at Ice and Turtle Rock, with the other pendant being at Pod. We could have a bowless GT.
That's true. Don't know if the...
Nope.
Oh, no. That is no longer true.
Big ol' no.
Well, now we don't have to worry about whether or not Pod is bow locked. Ricky checks the map again to confirm, wait, is Pod in fact a pendant? Yep, it is. Okay, time to go do it.
Yeah, so Palace of Darkness going to be a pretty reasonable deal here. Also, Eastern Palace. So, I'm going to expect something. Flippers, hammer, glove, something reasonable out of there to get us going.
And Khaja walked right past that item that was on the ledge in King Zora. I'm not sure if they got a look at it. I did not get a look at it.
I'm pretty like my brain registered something and then immediately dismissed it, so maybe it wasn't a thing.
Alright. Khaja looks to be fluting again, putting off that Aghanim's play as long as possible. Goes and turns in the mushroom, which they got from...
What's the mushroom?
King Zora.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, chat is confirming that Zora Ledge is unimportant.
Alright, welcome to Palace of Darkness. We greatly expect some sort of keys early on, but we also expect some sort of item eventually. Though we were technically bow locked out of pod.
Yep.
The bow was like right there.
Khaja is going to Aghanim's Tower now, and we'll see if Ricky is able to find an item that lets him get to the west side of Dark World. As you pointed out, we have 3 outs: the hammer, a glove upgrade, or the flippers. And with 4 items remaining to find in Palace of Darkness, hopefully one of them will show up soon.
Though again, it could also just be in Eastern, but that wouldn't be too hard to check either. We just mirror afterwards. So
That's true.
And of course, if the item happens to be the hammer, that would allow us to actually complete the dungeon. Which, interestingly enough, would actually make it where we could complete all the pendant dungeons.
That's true. Thieves Town being a pendant. And both of the bow dungeons being pendants means that there could very easily be a lot of potential things on the pedestal. The only major item that couldn't be on the pedestal is hammer.
Yep, basically. And if the game gives you access to all 3 pendant dungeons real early, you just kind of suspect that something is up.
Mm-hmm. The other nice thing is that they have the book as well as the fire rod, so when the runners are finally able to get to that west side of Kakariko Village of Outcasts, and do Skull Woods, then they can see what is on the pedestal before making the commitment to do all of the pendant dungeons.
Yeah, good call.
But so far, Palace of Darkness not really turning out anything substantial.
Into the dark maze for Ricky.
There's the flippers!
So that is access to West Dark World now.
Mm-hmm.
A big key, which will allow us to access this big chest over here. Actual vanilla hammer, anybody? Nope.
Just a piece of heart.
Yeah, so here I would actually save and quit, because it would put me on the pyramid. Unless I wanted to actually check Eastern. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, with the bow and the lamp, Eastern is completable. And there are 3 items inside it, so This play makes sense to do while you're in the neighborhood. Not that it's too difficult to come back to the pod eastern area with the flute. I also like doing Eastern Palace with the hook shot so you can skip around those 2 rooms on the right side.
Yeah, very nice.
And Khaja, having defeated Aghanim, is going to be making their way to Palace of Darkness, where they shall find the flippers as well. We'll see if Khaja also decides to do Eastern Palace after this.
Yeah, that is a good point with the Ancilla fake flippers being a possibility here. I don't think really anyone would probably go for that play just because, I mean, you're looking for one of 3 items to get you to West Dark World, and the hammer and gloves are going to be super important any way you look at it. I think you don't want to sequence break around those. Another bottle.
Yeah, blue potion is better than a sharp stick in the eye. Nice safety to have.
I really hope I don't open a chest and get a sharp stick in the eye. That seems like a problem.
That sounds like you'd be playing Ocarina of Time randomizer with those ice traps. And potentially the Deku sticks.
Yeah. Well, generally you don't put those in your eye.
Nah. Generally you use them to light braziers and or break them to defeat bosses in hilarious ways.
Basically, they're just like child master swords that are disposable.
Okay, Ricky is deciding to finish off Pod while he's in the area. In the meantime, Khaja is making their way through Palace of Darkness, having cleared out the bow-locked rooms, and will be heading towards the back to find those flippers.
So I would expect here a very quick finish from Ricky, and then afterwards, depending on what he gets, I would expect a walk back into the portal and then probably save and quit so you'd be on top of the pyramid, and then get over to West Dark World that way.
Yeah, I would expect the same. I don't believe Ricky has much of an other alternative. Nice job dealing with the Armos Knights there. Picks up that 3rd item, which ends up being inconsequential. And after completing the first crystal in 12 minutes, we've completed our 2nd dungeon in 42.
Looks like we're fluting instead.
Now it looks like Ricky will be doing the fake flippers. No?
Or the real flippers.
The real flippers, right. The real fake flippers.
Shoutouts to exactly 1,000 rupees. What's up? That was the significance of the Eastern Palace item.
You could get that King's Aura item twice over.
Alright, Ricky doing another flute. Back to 8. Gonna head over to Zora, looks like. While Khaja will be picking up the flippers here as well. Khaja could make up some time by skipping Eastern Palace. Potentially. Depending on what's on the pedestal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Khaja decides to go after completing Palace of Darkness.
Oh, that's where the mushroom was.
And that's a mirror. Looks like Khaja is also... Nope, save and quit.
He's gonna peace out. It looks like he might attempt to go use the Aga portal here. I'm not sure it's faster than just saving and quitting from the Dark World and being on top of the pyramid.
Yeah, it looks like they do want to continue on to the left side of the Dark World.
So we're going to be in one of those weird scenarios where it's actually, like, reasonably convenient to check Graveyard Ledge, which is something that never happens.
Gotta do that maze, but it is possible.
Yeah, can't do catfish on account of no glove. But, now, I think Ricky actually saved before turning in this mushroom, so he might actually be able to save it for,
Fake powder.
Fake powder shenanigans later. Never mind. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, but looks like Ricky is continuing.
Oh yeah, like we said, the flippers are sort of a weird way to access West Dark World. Perhaps Ricky is not aware of it.
I think we're seeing the Ice Rod Cave check now for that Butter Sword, but that doesn't appear to be what Ricky's looking for at this time. And in the meantime, Khaja is heading right to Village of Outcasts.
And there's a glove.
Wow.
Right there. Alright, Ricky going to 4. He's going to head through the Aga portal.
Yep, I think this will end in Ricky going to the left side as well.
And we have found our 4th bottle.
This game really wants you to be healthy. At least this game really wants you to be healthy with safeties. Still not that many hearts. And Ricky is doing the flippers, so going to be able to check out that left side.
Alright, so Khaja looking to head into Thieves Town here.
Yeah, this is interesting. Pendant Thieves Town without the hammer.
Yeah, we had discussed potentially going to Skull Woods beforehand just to get that information. But some people, are not particularly on board with an 8-heart green mail Skull Woods, no matter what sword you have.
Yeah, even those spikes hurt. Not having that many hearts is painful. there are enough bottles that are available, and there's enough money that you could elect to fill those bottles with the red potions that are available right in the Kakariko village area. But Thief's Town is enough of a treasure trove with potentially 4 items available, plus that green pendant, that Khaja is hoping to find something here, and we'll see if Thief's Town delivers for them.
Well, Khaja has found the first 4 of Thieves Town are literally the 4 dungeon items. So, good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll end up having to skip the big chest in Thieves Town unless Khaja finds the hammer inside it.
Yeah, though, good news for Khaja, turns out that graveyard ledge we were talking about was complete Garbo. From Ricky over there.
Mm-hmm. Ricky checking Bumper Cave next. Will not be coming back to grab those 3 bombs. And we'll see what they decide to do, if they head into Village of Outcasts or if they go up north for Skull Woods. Looks like Ricky is going to Skull Woods.
Now, personally, I would consider checking the pedestal here as Ricky finishing once you finish Skull Woods.
Yeah, there are still so many items that could potentially be on that pedestal that to be able to do it here at this stage in the game early on and just have that information is a nice advantage. And I like that Ricky is routing Skull Woods from doing the back first, potentially saving the need to explore all of the dungeon items. Ooh. Khaja takes a death from those Zazaks.
Oof. Ricky
decides to piece out of
first.
Decides to piece out of Village of Outcasts or Thieves Town. That is enough. And this makes sense for Khaja. They'd have to leave at least 1 item behind anyway, so it makes sense to head up and do Skull Woods now. And if you do need to go back to Thieves Town later, then by that point, hopefully you'll have the hammer, and we'll be able to get more out of it. And it looks like Khaja will be doing the dungeon front to back. So both of our runners in Skull Woods at the same time. We'll see how Ricky handles Mothula.
Oof.
Unfortunately, Mothula giving Ricky a hard time.
Now, who's doing the handling here? Yeah, Moth with green mail, period, is not fun.
Yeah, the glass cannon archetype is an appropriate way to describe this, because on the one hand, you want to go out super aggressive with that butter sword and deal with that fight as little as possible, but on the other hand, if you go up super aggressive, then you better get ready to take some hits.
And of course, for those of you who aren't aware, with the butter sword, you want to make sure don't spin.
Yeah, the butter sword spins count the same as spikes, and Mothula has that weird property where they are immune to the spikes in Mothula's room. Part of what makes dealing with that fight so difficult.
In fact, in vanilla, we had to change that up because it used to be the sword was a thing too. Pedestal is in fact dead. Khaja has checked that right now.
Yeah.
For us.
And good move on Khaja to check that early, with so many things that the pedestal could have potentially been. It's good to know that Ricky has no problem with Mothula the second time, unfortunately using that green potion for the sake of one fire rod shot, but it was the fire rod shot heard around the world as the moth goes and succumbs to the flame like moths are wont to do.
I think it'd be neat if you just fired a flame shot in there and then Moth would just run into it on purpose.
Painful.
I mean, because that would make sense. He's a moth, right? Yeah, so in the vanilla game, the butter sword on Mothula, if you slashed Moth, it would do nothing. The only way you could damage Moth with the butter sword in vanilla is by poking. They adjusted that because it just seemed a little too weird. So now the butter sword acts exactly like the tempered sword would on Mothula, and only on Mothula. Khaja making use of a blue potion that they picked up in Eastern Palace.
Yep, better to take advantage of that safety at a time when it's crucial.
Well, Pod was bow locked, but I mean, we got the bow on the pyramid, so it was basically irrelevant.
And Khaja will go right back in to grab the 50 rupees from that other chest. Good awareness knowing that they still have one item left to find.
Alright, so Ricky has officially dealt with Skullwoods. We'll be heading down to the Village of Outcasts, picking up a glove, and then we'll see what he finds the rest of this. Could definitely still see him, clearing out Thieves Town here.
Yeah, without the hammer, I would be tempted to just continue on, skip Thieves Town for the time being, and proceed onward to be able to check Stump Kid, Cave 45, Digging Game, and make my way to Hype Cave. If we find the hammer along the way, then we can also do Swamp Palace, which is a crystal. And with all those checks along the road, there is a high chance of finding the hammer.
Yeah. Though, I mean, I've seen the hammer in the back of Thieves Town too, so
That's true. That would be very unfortunate for Khaja, because I don't think Khaja wants to come back to Thieves Town anytime soon.
Yeah, sometimes it goes back one way or the other. So Ricky will be checking the first floor of Thieves Town, no question. We'll see what he does after that. Khaja, on the other hand, is piecing right the heck out and is going to head south, which, I agree with in this scenario.
Yep, Khaja no longer has that much to be gained from doing Thieves Town, but especially without the hammer. And knowing for a fact that there is something in that hammer-locked chest. So how many digs are we going to get? My lucky number is always 11.
I mean, we know it's going to be some number between 1 and 30, for those of you who are unaware. It's not how it works in the original game.
Looks like the magic number is 20.
That is what you get in the original game. It's a piece of heart, so there you go.
Yep, and it's nice of the randomizer to take out that random element, as ironic as that is, for Digging Game. And it's the same thing for chess game. The item that you're looking for will always be in the second chest, and then you no longer have to go in and out of the chess game area.
Yeah. So, if anyone wants to experience that the old-fashioned way, I recommend trying to run the 100% category of this game. Good luck with that.
Just the Bloomerang in K45, but Khaja will continue onward.
Alright, so Ricky is, as we might have expected, continuing to the back of Thieves Town, having seen nothing in the front. That means you know there's three items in the back you can access at least. Plus the green pendant for a fourth.
Khaja checking out that Bombos tablet. Just 10 arrows. But still Hype Cave left to do. And then, since we found the gloves, that puts... Well, we already have done the back of Escape, but that does put Catfish in Access.
Alright, Hype Cave has Piece of Heart, 10 arrows, Big 20, 5 rupees, and powder.
Magic powder.
Which actually doesn't give us access to anything right now. I mean, if I'm Khaja, I think I'm going to the first chest of Swamp, which is really dumb. But what else are you gonna do?
Khaja seems it differently. This might be that Catfish play.
Ooh, yeah, Catfish is definitely a possibility as well.
Has to mirror because of the hammer pegs. It looks like now Khaja is going to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I guess that's a
This makes
play, and you could
makes sense as well.
back in that portal after you're done if you really want to go back. Ricky picking up the green pendant, but I don't think he found anything else in Thieves Town.
No. Ricky will be able to check Sahasrara's item, which is now looking more and more like it could be relevant.
So Khaja did not do Graveyard Ledge, but it was junk. Ricky did. This seed is looking like officially like extra double garbage from where I'm sitting here.
Another potential option, having found that glove upgrade, is the runners can now finish Desert Palace. Or no, but it is boots locked.
Still
Never
need
mind.
boots.
Yep. Because the small key's on the torch and the big key is found in one of those chests on the right side. They could do Spike Cave, even though they don't have an invulnerability item.
With what hammer?
Also a valid point. Never mind.
Oh boy.
Yeah, as soon as they found those flippers, it looked like the left side was wide open, but now it's getting bottlenecked again.
Yeah, so it's Sahasrara, Catfish, or the first chest in Swamp Palace. All of which are straight garbo and make me want to vomit.
Very unpalatable items. Ricky checking out
Hammer.
Hype Cave first, before making their way to the Bombos tablet. And judging by this order of things, Ricky would be well poised to do that first check in Swamp Palace right after Bombos tablet.
Yeah, I mean, right here it does seem like the reasonable play, which is like, I can't even believe I've uttered those words. Checking the first chest in Swamp Palace is the reasonable play. Whoa.
Definitely not what you want to do, and perhaps these runners are just staring at this and going, what am I missing? What's going on? What is this seed? But sometimes you get those weird edge scenarios.
And Ricky,
At least they have Butter Sword. And here is the first chest in Swamp Palace check.
and for those of you who don't know, that does not count as the first chest of Swamp, unless you're playing Key Sanity.
If you're playing Key Sanity, that is the last place you want to find that small key.
Here we go.
The Blue Nick.
So, Catfish or Green Pendant turn in. Or
Ricky's also going to do Bombos tablet, which Khaja had already done before Hype Cave.
Ah, right.
That makes sense. Ricky does have a nice little walk ahead of him. Can do Sahasrara first, and then make their way up to Catfish should it prove unfruitful. Khaja opts to save and quit. We'll see. If I'm Khaja, I'm definitely looking at going to Catfish at this point. Hoping to avoid the Thieves Town double, potentially triple dip as long as possible.
It looks like both of our runners are going to be heading for that Catfish play.
Yeah, Ricky might stop over to Sahasrara first.
Basically, if I'm Ricky,
No.
I go to Catfish, and then if it's not there, I mirror Fluke to 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. So both of our runners are making their way to that fish. What could that fish possibly have? Hopefully the hammer. That would unlock the most things, right?
Yeah.
Titan's Mitts would open up. Titan's Mitts would open up a bit more in the Smith Chain, in Mire Shed.
Yeah, I want to see Titan's Mitts into Hammer at Magic Bat.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Mushroom has been checked. Shovel has been checked.
Just bombs.
Goodness, green
Oh.
turn in, folks.
Bad news for Khaja. Time to do the rest of Thieves Town. And it looks like Ricky is hoofing it over there instead.
Yeah. Definitely would have gone for the mirror flute play, but I mean, but that is from the perspective of somebody who has been sitting here on his butt watching the game instead of actually playing.
There's certainly a lot to keep in mind. Randomizer, figuring out where to go next, as well as executing on what you're currently doing in the moment. That is easy to miss things like that. Khaja looks to be checking Graveyard Ledge now.
No, he's still not checking Graveyard Ledge.
No.
I think Khaja might be unaware that Graveyard Ledge is possible at this point. That is a sticking point that a lot of people have, that you can get there without the boots or the mitts, and a lot of people just don't know that. There's the Titan's mitts.
All right. Bombing Sahasrara for good measure. That's what you get up for holding out on me, old man. Alright, so with the Titan's mitts in hand, Ricky looks to be doing the Smith chain now and can work in the magic bat check as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like this play over doing Mire Shed early, just because if you happen to find the boots, then you can do Finish Desert while you're in the Mire area.
Yeah.
Not that it's too difficult to go back to.
The reason I like this play more is because you found the powder, and it's basically just yelling at you, hey!
That's true. The presence of powder makes it so there is one additional item that you can check from doing the Smith chain things. Khaja about to get the bad news from Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace is very little other than bad news.
Yeah, good point from chat. The Ice Palace play is basically an interesting possibility as well, although I really don't like ice without hammer. But what are you going to do, right? Oof.
Alright, Batcave. What do you have for us today?
Ooh.
Just 10 arrows.
So I imagine this will be a very quick flute to 7 for Ricky here.
Yep, flute to 7. Khaja got the bad news from Swamp Palace.
Then after this, I feel like a flute to 6 might be in order. You could check Mire Shed and Checkerboard Cave. Ice Rod in the purple chest. That's...
Yep, we will be needing that Ice Rod. Not immediately. I feel like it won't take too long before Khaja makes that purple chest check as well. But if Mire Shed decides to open up things considerably, there could definitely be the hammer here. Then it could potentially be a while before Khaja gets that.
All right, we see Bombos for Misery Mire. Which, let's be fair, Bombos is sitting in Ice Palace.
That's the way these things go, right? At least they have the fire rod.
Yeah.
Khaja getting blocked by that bee there, and now looks to be making that Graveyard Ledge play.
He's kind of feeling his way around. He is going to figure it out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Go between the two pillars there. That's what you got to do. Oh, still
looking
doesn't.
around it doesn't.
So now the flute to 1 for Ricky, which is another play you can do. You're gonna get 6 more items up here.
You also get a little bit of information getting to see the other medallion that's required. Or perhaps the same medallion that's required.
Who knows? So yeah, what I imagine is Khaja's probably using a location tracker of some kind, and he sees that Graveyard Ledge is accessible, and he's like, how the heck am I supposed to get in there? And that's just the sort of thing where you don't necessarily know that it's going to be the case. It's actually covered in like the randomizer website itself has a frequently asked questions sort of page, and that's one of the scenarios that's covered. Is you can actually see a little map that tells you which way to go.
Yeah, it's a maze, but
It also has another
solvable
way.
one.
Also has another map of how to reach the map chest in Ganon's Tower without the hook shot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that is in logic with the boots. All right.
That is an edge case I have not personally encountered. We see the medallion, also the Bombos medallion.
Also probably an Ice Palace. All right, Hookshot Cave. 4 items, all of which are accessible. Did we see what was on the floating island? Because I don't remember. I'm sure we saw it.
Yeah, I don't recall what it was. Silver arrows is nice. But not really what these runners are looking for progression-wise.
Wow. The Ice Palace thing might actually be it. That's gross. This seed is officially gross. I literally want to vomit right now.
At least Ice Palace is a crystal, and I like that Ricky is taking advantage of those money, taking advantage of that bottle to grab some blue potions before heading over to Ice Palace.
Because you know this is going to be Bombos in Ice leading to, like, Hammer in Mire, right? You know that.
Sitting and think about it, do I really have to? Unfortunately, it's looking that way. And it's wild that the Titan's Mitts opened up so much, but just like that, we're bottlenecked off again. Khaja, in the meantime, has picked up the Maiden, takes a couple of hits from that little Zol enemy, but going to beat blind and get that all-important green pendant.
And as we know, there's not going to be any icebreaker here for Ricky either. Yeah, Ice Palace without the Cane of Samaria and without the hammer, there are only like 5 things accessible, maybe, and that's if you get the big key.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to be skipping some of those chests on the right side and won't be able to clear out Cold Stare, despite Ice Palace being a crystal. So, Best case scenario for Ricky, the hammer is just here. Worst case, I don't know, you could find the Bombos medallion. Bombos medallion being in ice, and then have to do something in Misery Mire without the cane.
I mean, that is what I said was going to happen. That's the thing. When you have the fire rod and you're looking for Bombos, it's in Ice Palace. That's the way it works. I mean, not necessarily. Now, one thing in this scenario is, unless you're expecting to find the hammer, there's not really much of a point of doing the Ice Palace bomb jump here because we can't finish the boss anyway.
That's true. Doing the Ice Palace bomb jump does invite the possibility that Ricky can beat it easily afterward. Having a little bit of trouble with the bomb jump at the moment. And there goes Khaja picking up those Titan's mitts. And we'll see what Khaja decides to do first.
Like we're going for 6.
Yeah. I think it's very likely that Khaja will also do Top of Death Mountain and the Misery Mire checks before deciding to, and the Smith Chain checks before deciding to dip into Ice Palace.
Yeah, and Ricky is deciding against the bomb jump. I am certainly on board with that. I feel like a lot of the runners nowadays in the mentor tournament anyway are going to spend more time practicing the icebreaker than they do the Ice Palace bomb jump. So you just might not be as familiar with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. With the advent of Icebreaker, it used to be such that learning the Ice Palace bomb jump was kind of a rite of passage for new runners, but now its importance is a lot less, because you can skip it if you have the cane. And sometimes the game might require you to have the cane in order to complete Ice Palace in logic anyway.
So Ricky is now about to just kind of make a loop. This does not go where you want to go, Ricky. This goes right back to that room you were just in. There we go.
All right. Khaja making their way up to Dark Death Mountain. We'll get to see how Bombos Medallion is 2 for 2. The most coveted medallion. In fact, the only coveted medallion of this seed.
Alright, so Ricky now heading for Ice Tea Room. This will be the last chest available in Ice Palace, unless the big key is here, in which case we'll get to go on another little loop.
And if the hammer is here, then not doing that bomb jump would come back to bite Ricky a little bit. It is the hammer. Oh my.
So yeah, actually going through here now is a reasonable play. What you can do is Ricky can just go the way he was going. He goes through the hookshot room. You can go back up the stairs, check a couple more chests in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, pick up the big key and the small key, and then just be able to get to the boss.
Right. The only way that this doesn't work out is if it turns out that Cold Stare is Samaria locked. Alright, Khaja deciding to flute. going to be checking out the Smith chain right now.
Yeah, that chat making a pretty good point about going back the other way with the key. But yeah, we do have the big key now.
Enjoying that color dungeon from Link's Awakening music.
That's what it was. I was like, my brain was thinking, it was like, wait, is this like Oracle of Seasons? But no, you're right. It's the color dungeon.
All right, Ricky does find that small key in the Ice Palace big chest, so no problem going down using both of these small keys to hit that crystal switch and then proceed onward to defeat Cold Stare.
Yeah. Although that does mean you have to run back up and push the block down, which is a bit of a problem. But, I mean, what are you going to do? This seed has been garbage anyway. Hammer and Ice Palace is the worst.
Hammer and Ice Palace is not what the heart wants, but it is what the heart gets.
It probably would have been faster. Like, the fastest strat I could think of would be after checking the big key chest, actually just leave through the top and come in and do the Ice Palace bomb jump that way. But Ricky was having trouble with the Ice Palace bomb jump anyway, so I figured this is the sort of thing where he's just like, you know what? Not going to do it. Alright, so Khaja's going to have to waste a little bit of time here picking up the purple chest again, because he didn't grab it before going to Magic Bat. And when you go to Magic Bat without the hammer, you lose your portal. So he's going to have to go get the portal the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, it was definitely good awareness on Ricky's part to be sure to grab that purple chest before checking the Magic Bat.
Alright, so Ricky has just enough magic here to break the shell. And pulls it off, and now we're on Butter Sword.
Butter Sword
melts Cold Stare pretty quick as long as you don't get bodied constantly.
Does decide to use that extra blue potion, especially after the Ice Palace that we've had. Better to be safe than sorry and not have to come back here.
Yeah, I never want to set foot in this entire dungeon ever again. Get me out of here.
And with that, we have Ricky has their third crystal. Khaja about to get the bad news, or potentially good news, from the man. Ice Rod is something we'll be needing later, even if not right now. And this looks like Khaja's about to do Ice Palace as well.
So, sadly for Ricky, probably the correct play here is going to Swamp. I don't like Swamp, if I can help it, but especially without the cane, because again, more broken things constructed with the cane. But, if I'm looking for the cane, Swamp is a place I like to go. It can be there pretty often.
Swamp has 6 items. We've seen one of them already.
Yeah, Bomb Diver Down is a thing. I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with it, but you can pull it off. Well, I mean, it depends on how familiar you are with the bomb diver down. Is what it gains you. I mean, it's not hard to do. It is hard to do perfectly. Like, in terms of, like, getting the optimal speed done. All right.
Right, Khaja setting up for that Ice Palace bomb jump.
Also having a little bit of trouble with it. Okay. Nope. So this seed has been a lesson in, hey, remember how to do the Ice Palace bomb jump. There he wasn't far enough left when he dropped the bomb. You know?
Yeah.
There he's
vertically. It looks right. That's a little too far down. Does have that blue potion. Will elect to use it now. Only 4 bombs remaining. This is a little too far to the right.
Yeah. Okay. There he just looked a little too far up when he dropped the bomb. Or too down, excuse me. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This is
potential. I think almost. All
right, so Ricky is gonna head to the back of Swamp first. I'm on board with this plan. He's not doing the diver down. That is fine. Doesn't really save you that much time if you're just heading back here.
And Khaja runs out of bombs and elects to mirror out, possibly to get some more. Ricky finding those boots. What are those? That's Desert Palace completion.
Khaja's buying a bomb upgrade to refill the bombs there. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want healing, go to the right.
And we'll see what Ricky decides to do after this. Personally, you are looking for a lot of stuff at this point. I would be inclined to go back and do left side. But by the same token, finding the boots opens up all of Desert Palace and King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, I feel like you potentially just bail here.
Yeah, I can understand being committed to skipping left-hand side as well. And Ricky does elect to go back in.
I'm also okay with that plan. At this point, there's not much you can do in this seed that would be considered straight up wrong. Because the seed itself is straight up wrong.
Nice kill on the Stalfos guards with the bomb there from Khaja. And now going for bomb jump round 2. Has to be a little careful with hearts though.
That looks about right. Yeah, I got it.
All right, effectively the first try on the second try around.
First try every time.
Every time is the first try. Just ignore all the other times.
For those of you wondering, no, Ricky did not flood the key. There's no possible way you could do it there. Because if it had already gone to the back, that means the key was necessary to get to that switch. Oh yeah, the spin setup is something I use on that Ice Palace bomb jump for sure. At least to set up the horizontal pixel.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Khaja going for the bomb jump to the right side here.
Yeah,
and gets it.
A lot more forgiving.
Yeah. So Khaja will be able to check that chest south of here in Ice Tea Room and get the hammer a little bit earlier.
Oh, and the Canis!
Wow!
Swamp, excuse me!
Alright, so maybe we could have divered down to the back of Swamp. Without the Bombos medallion, though, Kane doesn't do that much for us, given that Ricky has already completed both Swamp and Ice Palace. But will certainly be needed later. Yep, I like this play a lot. We know that Desert is a crystal, and we know that there are still 2 items to find inside it.
Khaja's going for the boss here. Ten arrows in the compass chest, and based on the counting, this should have the big key. Now, I know some people here in this scenario would go straight to the boss and then come back to the big chest if it turns out to be... if the boss turns out to not have the item.
And a very nice fight on Khaja's side, using the Butter Sword spin attack to corner all of the puffballs in the upper right corner, and then defeat them very quickly.
The hammer was, in fact, in the iced tea room. In its good old... it was basically in the Ice Palace room, shaped like itself.
And it looks like Khaja, now armed with the hammer, is going to be doing Swamp Palace as well. We'll pick up that red cane. We'll pick up the boots and potentially be on the same course that Ricky is taking.
So if this turns out to be nothing, what's the next play you make as Ricky? Personally, I think I'm doing King's Tomb Bonk Rocks.
I agree with that.
And then maybe Hammer Pegs after that. Probably trying to avoid finishing Pod at all costs.
That's true. With Pod being a pendant and already knowing that there are only 10 arrows on the pedestal, Pod is not looking that appealing.
Chest is live too. Gross.
That is gross. That's the one that I would want to do last.
That was a very nice Silver Arrow Landmo. from Ricky. And we see Ricky going for the Dark World here. I'm not sure what he's going to do.
Yeah, this could be Hammer Pegs. This could be finishing up Thieves Town.
Yeah, Thieves Town Big Chest first would be an interesting play. Let's put it that way. Yeah, this looks like probably King's Tomb Bonk Rocks real quick. He might not have checked the Bumper Cave. Yeah, he did. It was...
Yeah. Goes on right past the Bonk Rock spot, but we'll probably pick it up on the way back.
I feel like if I was going to do King's Tomb Bonk Rocks, I wouldn't have come in from the Dark World. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would have...
Already done Graveyard Ledge. There's not much of a point.
I think I would have saved and quit to Sanctuary, and then done King's Tomb Bonk Rocks on the way to Kakariko, and then checked out Hammer Pegs at least. But Ricky sees it differently and picks up that half magic, which is another nice safety, but not the progression that they were hoping for.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't say no to it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, looks like Khaja is going for left side swamp right now.
And all we really need is that Bombos medallion. Khaja going to do some Bomb Diver Down, and might do Samaria Diver Down after picking up the Cane of Samaria here.
Nicely done.
Very nicely done. First try.
Alright, Hammer Pegs is Bombos.
Oh! And with that, Ricky is in go mode.
That certainly smells like a go mode to me.
Going to pick up some potions first. Might as well be safe. We've had a lot of money in this seed so far.
And off we go. So we're going to be doing a Mire and a Turtle Rock as quickly as humanly possible. Unfortunately, those are two dungeons that are just not that great to go mode. I mean, Mire could be good, but it's not ever good.
Turtle Rock, the best that you can really hope for is being able to skip the vanilla big key chest. And Laser Bridge.
Yeah. If you get 3 keys and a big key in the front, you can skip like a lot. But that's not likely.
And indeed, on Khaja's side, we do get to see both kinds of Diver Down. First the Bomb Diver Down, and then the Cane of Samaria Diver Down. Picking up those boots in the underwater flooded chest.
Alright, Ricky heading for the bridge chest. I mean, best thing you can see here is the big key. Though people will generally be okay with a small key as well.
One more chance to find that big key and hope for the Godmire.
Rip.
Yep. So now the question is, if you're Ricky, do you try to skip the cutscene chest?
I mean, it depends on what's in this chest. On the first chest. To be honest. If it's a small key, you absolutely don't, because you know the other one is the big key.
Just a compass.
So yeah, in that case, I definitely skip it for now.
Cool, and that looks to be what Ricky is doing.
Uh-oh.
There's a small key.
So with the third small key, that goes back into logic. So, in order for the big... There's the big key. Let's get out of here.
But go on. In order for the...
So, in order for the big key to be in its vanilla chest, you either have to have all 3 small keys available outside of Vitreous, or one of them has to be in that compass chest.
I see.
And because all 3 were available outside of Vitreous, I was like, oh, it might be there, but it wasn't. Ricky attempting to set up some spooky stuff here. He did lift the rock from the bottom as he came here, so the spooky glitch is armed unless something weird has happened. So it doesn't look like he's going to use it in here. There he was just too low.
Yeah, I think yep, too low on those anti-berries.
You want to be sort of on the third tile there.
Yeah, it's not too much of a time save using Spooky Glitch, but especially if you're in Go mode, every minute, every second, you're trying as hard just to finish everything as fast as you possibly can. So every little bit helps.
Alright, Silver Arrow Vitreous. This should be a pretty academic exercise, as every eyeball goes down in a single shot.
Yep, this is basically Link's crossbow training before Link's crossbow training.
I forgot that was a thing. Nothing wrong with a free heart, and Misery Mire is complete for Ricky. We'll see how long it takes Khaja to get to Hammer Pegs. But a very nice, like a 2-cycle Landmo there. I'm okay with that.
Yep. Alright, Khaja is saving and quitting. We'll see will they return to the left. Next, starting at the sanctuary, it looks like this is going to be a Bonkrock's King's Tomb check, after deciding which one to do first. And then we'll possibly be able to set up going to the Village of Outcast, or going to, Village of Outcast to check hammer pegs right after that. And in the meantime, half magic is a nice safety to have, especially with the Trinex fight coming up.
All right, Ricky now opening up Turtle Rock. I mean, the only thing really left after these King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, Hammer Pegs checks are Thieves Town, Big Chest, and Helmasaur, right?
Yeah.
So no, and you want to go to you want to go for the Hammer Pegs when you get the chance. Oh, the Aga one. I guess he never checked the lumberjack tree.
Yeah. Hey, might as well just get it.
Yep, doesn't hurt nothing. All right, Ricky has the big key of Turtle Rock, and we'll head east to the fire rod locked room. By the way, this room is the room that has the hardest trick in the game in it.
What's that?
Remembering that you don't have the hook shot when you don't have the hook shot. That's the hardest trick in the game.
Remembering that you have to go the long way around. Nice job on Ricky's part using the hook shot to avoid the rolling pins in that room.
Ooh, if Ricky can get a small key from the chain chomps, then we can do some real skipping here in Turtle Rock. Like, you can actually get the key from the pokey and then skip the big chest, skip the crystal roller, and the laser bridge, and just go.
As it stands, it looks like a laser bridge skip will be likely. See what our friend Bow Wow has for us today.
Aww.
Just a red rupee.
So now we do have to find one more small key. Khaja finds Bombos, gets into go mode once again. Just has Misery Mire and Turtle Rock to go as well. So if there's one word other than complete garbage that I would use to describe this seed, it is very linear. Except that's 2 words, but it's still true.
Yeah, as soon as an item would come along, such as the hammer or the Titan's Mitts, that would open up a lot of locations, those possibilities got exhausted so quickly, and it turns out there was only one correct way the entire time, and it was usually the way that was not that obvious, such as Ice Palace.
So, technically, Bombos was in Ice Palace, or at least behind Ice Palace. Because you had to get the hammer from Ice to get Bombos.
Yep, that's right.
So my theory still holds. If you have Fire Rod and you're looking for Bombos, you should go to Ice.
The transitive property of Ice Palace applies.
Who rolled this garbage, says the person who rolled this garbage. So, most of the time you will be able to find another key either in the Crystal Roller Room or on Laser Bridge, and Laser Bridge will not be able to be skipped this time either. But when there's a small key in the big key chest like there is right now, there is the chance that the only other key is in the big chest. It's very small, but that can end up haunting you. And if you feel like you could use a midway checkpoint by going to the big chest, I certainly don't blame anybody for doing so. In terms of like probability, you are entirely correct. That's probably the way to go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where chances are it will work out, but there is a small chance that it would not work out to skip the big chest, and those things indeed do happen. Khaja unfortunately takes a death in Ice Palace after picking up the item in the spike room. Without an invulnerability item, there was not that much recourse to avoid that.
Ricky is going for some laser skips here. No invulnerability item to speak of, and advanced logic doesn't really care if you have it or not. But Ricky did take the safety door here, so is going to have basically all the time in the world to get this done, and you can take a few deaths and it doesn't really hurt anything. It is kind of important, though, that you don't... because it's possible that you fall in the hole and die, and then as you're dying, you take another hit from the laser. That will hard lock the game.
That would not be fun for anyone.
And of course, like always, the key is in the last chest that you would check.
Alright, Ricky sneaks past that eye, grabs that last key, and will be on his way over to beat the three-headed dragon.
Oh, is that what that sprite is supposed to be?
The three-necked dragon?
No, I mean, someone in chat said, down goes Legolas. And I'm like, is that what that sprite is supposed to be?
Oh, that I don't actually know.
There were like just a metric buttload of new sprites introduced in the most recent thing. I'm just like, I don't know anything. Ricky pulling off the second hardest trick in the game, which is remembering you have Butter Sword and switching to the Fire Rod before the end of the first 3 slashes.
Butter Sword is a blessing and a curse in that way. At least it's not just the Master Sword. At which point you might as well use the hammer.
Got somebody in chat saying Breath of the Wild Zelda. That makes some sense too. Alright, well, it's Ganon's Tower big key time. The numbers are in. Get him going. Aw, somebody got mine. My contractually obligated guess is going to be Bob's chest. Because,
Makes sense.
But here we go. Opening the door with 7 crystals. And Ricky will be climbing the tower. So opening the Ganon's Tower door at 158. I don't know anybody who would be opening that door too terribly much faster than that. It would be... You would have to be a really good player to pull off just any sort of sub 2 on this seed. Also, you'd have to get extremely lucky.
Yeah, to get a sub 2 in this seed, I think would require much more taking risky gambles that would work out than routing and executing particularly well. all that to say is that these runners have been dealt a pretty lousy lot by this seed, and to be able to make their way through it and keep going at the pace that they're going is truly commendable.
Ricky has found the cane of Brian.
The second best cane in the game.
Yep, and that was 5 chests because he decided to go left first, which is an interesting route.
Now it looks like Ricky's gonna do the right side checks. The nice advantage to doing it this way is, should the big key not be on the right side, then when you go to the left again, you don't have to worry about killing those jumping skeleton enemies.
Right.
Which they can be pretty problematic.
And as they said in a recent Go Mode podcast, every time you kill enemies, it wastes your time.
Yeah, live and let live. Khaja picking up that crystal from Misery Mire, going to make their way over to Turtle Rock as well. Ricky does not find the big key on the right side, gets this one, and opting...
Is going full right.
Yep, opting to go on and proceed to Bob's Chest and Armos Knights.
Yeah, having picked up the cane of Burna there was kind of a nice thing to have here. It is very difficult to get through that previous room without taking damage without Burna or Cape. Like, it's just nigh on impossible. I've never seen it done. I'm sure it could be tasked.
And then in the meantime, the floor is collapsing on you. That room can be very stressful.
Oh, so key dashing, somebody's talking about in chat there. So key dashing, the idea is you have to be a multiple of 4 frames away from the door. So if you go directly through, like in Ganon's Tower, if you go to the room where the big key door is at the beginning and just immediately dash without moving, that will get you on the right pixel. There are a lot of little setups you can use to do those in other places as well.
Yeah, some of the other nice key dash setups of note are in Desert Palace. You can do it in the first floor tile room, as well as in that really long room where you have to get a small key from a pot.
Yeah, there you kind of want to basically kind of dash smoothly around the little torch there. That'll set you up on the right pixel. And then, as they were saying recently, that dash through tile room here in GT is also free. Just, again, straight from the door.
And Ricky did find that magic cape after completing Armos Knights. So
yeah, both invulnerability items in GT. That's nice for, beginners. Cough.
Ganon really didn't want anyone to avoid his attacks that way.
Oh, there's the big key in the Fire Snake room, and Ricky is off to see the wizard.
That's true. The only checks left were all of Rando room and Tile room. So I believe that puts the victor at 19. Or no, 17.
Hey, and Oro gets the win there. Congratulations.
Nice cane block placement strat on Khaja's side to get through the chain chomp room. And makes their way south, dodging the anti-fairies. Ricky is using silver arrows and switching up to fire rod. Yeah, fire rod is my preferred item to deal with the gauntlet rooms, just because it's so quick action and can destroy the skeletons without having to go through their burning animation.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense there. The only problem I have with fire rod is I'm very, very paranoid about my magic.
That's true.
I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem if I'd actually practiced it.
Ricky does opt to use a blue potion there, but I believe that he still has some for the Ganon fight and potentially the Ganon's tower torch room if they're really unlucky.
Going for the silver arrows on Landmo gets a little bit bothered by that Medusa on the bottom left. Little fireball shooter in the bottom. It is kind of the worst. That is really the only part of this fight that is annoying, is that stupid fire shooter.
It's such a small change, but it really does make a huge impact.
Very nice second Wizrobe room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only slightly could have been improved. There's like 3 levels of Wizrobe room there. There's the one where you get the first 3 and then the second one on the second cycle, that's fine. There's that one where you get it on the first cycle, but it fires a shot. And then there's the one where you get it on the first cycle, but it doesn't fire a shot, and it's a little faster that way because you don't have to wait for the shot to disappear.
I never differentiated between options 2 and 3.
I mean, both of them are equally impressive for anybody who hasn't done the game before.
For sure.
Ricky now into the penultimate chest room and on to Moldorm.
Yep.
2.
Yep, and not much to be gained from opening those chests. Ricky already found both invulnerability items. The only thing that could really be there is red mail, which would be nice.
Ricky pulled off the 3rd hardest trick in the game, which is remembering to switch to the hook shot.
Skipping validation chests, and I don't blame him. There's no reason to validate this seed. Khaja has opened safety door, having a little bit of trouble with laser bridge. Unfortunately, if they continue to approach it from the bottom, it'll be the last chest by the time they finally get that small key. And with the invulnerability items both being in Ganon's tower, there really isn't a better way to handle this. I believe Mirror Shield would be in logic somewhere, but
not in advanced logic.
Not in advanced logic?
Advanced logic does not care one bit about what you have for laser bridge. It just assumes you can laser skip.
That's rough. Alright, takes a death, but there's only one more chest to open. And in the meantime, Ricky has a very nice Aghanim 2 fight, and on their way to Ganon. Buttersword and Silvers. This should be a pretty short Ganon fight.
Part of me thinks this might be the boss music from Ages and Seasons when you actually fight Ganon. Can't remember.
This is from Zelda 1, if I recall correctly. With an extra fancy solo.
Maybe there's an extra flair to it that I can't. That is making it indecipherable for me. Okay, yeah, it's just a remix of the Zelda 1 one. Alright, that's fine.
Alright, Ricky gets the torch glitch.
I mean, this is Zelda 1, Zelda 2 with some definite Link's Awakening thrown in as well. Like, there's definitely some Link's Awakening.
Alright. Ricky is one more silver shot away from defeating Ganondorf, and Khaja is about to make their way inside Ganon's tower. There goes Ganon, holding that butter sword up. GG to Ricky of Kokiri, pending a very big disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And with that...
Yeah. Well done to Ricky. I know that one thing, when I was starting out, I would always, as a new player, I would always feel pretty okay about it if I was in GT when my opponent finished, so that's about where you gotta feel okay about this. But yeah, we got Ricky finishing with a 2:10.57, and Khaja looks like he went ahead and finished it off there, went in forfeit there just because, I mean, let's be honest, this seed was garbage. Nobody wants to play it anymore anyway.
Yeah. But Khaja forfeiting wasn't because Khaja couldn't finish the seed. They were at Ganon's tower. They would have found that big key, and with as many items as they had, plus silver arrows, absolutely no reason why Khaja couldn't finish it, should they have decided to.
And looks like we are getting Ricky set up for an interview here. Once that's put together, we'll see if Ricky will join us. And there we go, Ricky of Kokiri, the winner of this particular race. Congratulations!
Thank you. That was a seed.
Yeah. I may just want to not play Rando for a while after watching that one. It's just like.
I mean, I was feeling pretty good doing Tower of Hera in 10 minutes or whatever it was, but oh my goodness, the rest of this logic. Just,
Yeah. I mean, the thing we were saying is this seed was basically post, for the whole thing, really, it was about the most linear thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was linear, but you needed to know the path.
Yeah, it was basically bottleneck after bottleneck after bottleneck, single item in one place, and all of those places are terrible.
Yep. Oftentimes the path was the last path that you would have chosen and the one that you would have expected, such as Hammer in Ice Palace in Ice Key Room.
Yeah, which did not help that I failed the bomb jump. I need to go back and see what I was doing wrong, because I swear 3 of those attempts should have worked.
Does sound like Khaja has joined us as well, so welcome as well. And
GG,
congratulations on actually getting to
you.
Tower in this seed. Good lord.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
It was not my day. I tilted since the beginning and felt like I was so behind. I have to do crazy things, so yeah. I was just waiting for Ricky to finish at some point.
I was waiting for you to finish at some point.
Yeah. I don't know how anybody sub-twos this seed, period. You'd have to call the galaxy brain Ice Palace play and things like that, like super early.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could do it if you didn't dip Eastern Palace like I did, which turned out to be a total waste of time. But I don't know.
I mean, you got a free blue potion.
Woo! I hit bottle percent. Yay!
Yeah. Both of you ended up clearing Eastern Palace, and it got to the point where there were only 3 possible locations where that hammer, or where progression could be, and those were Catfish, the first chest in Swamp Palace, and one other that I'm forgetting that is also very isolated.
Yeah, and I checked
Green
the
Pendant.
first-
Sahasrara, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I did all 3 of those.
Same.
The real thing that cost Khaja the race here is dying in Thieves Town.
Oh.
Yeah. I was going to clear it, but yeah, I died and I felt like I was kind of forced to go to Scarwoods because it was a crystal and maybe it was progression there. So yeah.
I mean, I died to Mothra first try, and then I had to do Ice Palace the vanilla way because I failed the bomb jump. So
Yeah, I was feeling beyond already at this point, but I knew that I had a blue potion for the Mothra fight, and you didn't.
yeah, I had a
Because of
green
that.
potion,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
I didn't use. I was because I had Butter Sword. Like, how hard can Mothra be with Butter Sword? And I got too close.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what happens when you let Moth touch you.
Yeah.
So Kaja, when you had the decision of doing Skullwoods and Thieves Town, was that the reason that you chose Thieves Town first? Because you're feeling behind?
Yes, totally. And because it was green pendant, and I was hoping for something to get me back into the race because I knew I was so behind. That's why all the race I did crazy things or crazy combo like the first chest of Swamp Palace, which I forget, and I had to do all the turn around again. I was so pissed.
Yeah. We were thinking as well that big chest in Thieves Town had an item, and neither of you were able to get it on the first go around because both of you did Thieves Town without the hammer. We were pretty nervous about that big chest, but fortunately that didn't end up coming into play.
Yeah, that was
fair. The Thieves Town play without hammer was 100% required here.
Yep.
I was going to check that chest if Bombos wasn't in Hammerpegs.
Yeah, same here. That was my next stop. If I did the 2 Bonk Rock things, then I did Hammer Peg, and the next stop was going to be Thieves Town. But fortunately, Bombos was there.
Mm-hmm.
At that point we were down to the Thieves Town big chest and Helmasaur, I believe.
Yep. And possibly sequence breaking Spiral Cave, even though we didn't have either of the safeties for it.
Spike Cave.
Spike Cave, you mean?
Oh, Spike Cave, yeah, Spike Cave.
Yeah, I was wondering about that one too, but both of the safeties ended up being in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this was certainly a test of patience for anybody running them, and I applaud both of you for putting up with this mess.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So Ricky, that's going to put you on 5-1, almost guaranteed, or basically guaranteed to make the gold sword bracket there.
Right. That's exciting.
4-2 is not outside the realm of possibility either. So.
Yeah, but I doubt I make it.
We'll see.
I mean,
those stats are not in my favor for making it to the gold bracket, and honestly, I don't deserve it. So I hope I'm going to be in the tempered bracket.
Yeah, tempered's going to be good either way. Like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't personally want to be in the gold sword bracket. I'm pretty sure I would lose that bracket.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get clobbered. I'm gonna get clobbered.
Yeah, that's why I'm kinda happy that if I'm thrown into the template bracket, I can make hopefully more matches that there. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys would like to say before we wrap it on up here?
This is the third AGA 1 seed in a row I've had to do. I am tired of AGA 1. I'd like a break.
Oh, you too? Yeah. I would like it too.
That sounds about right. It seemed pretty evident that AGA 1 was going to be a thing early on, unfortunately. Just like getting all the swords, literally all 4 swords available right at the start.
Yeah.
4 swords and 5 hearts. But yeah, and as it turned out, having to do Aghanim was possibly the most benign of the wild and crazy shenanigans that this seed required.
Mm-hmm. Having to do AGA 1 to get access to Pendant Pod for the flippers. Thanks, game.
Yeah. So Ricky, yeah, I had a question about that. So after finishing Pod, you and Eastern, I think, or maybe Eastern was later.
No, I did
you went-
Eastern Rift Pod.
Okay. So you left basically to go do flipper checks at that point.
Yes.
We had a theory that you might have forgotten you can reach West Dark World with the
I did.
flippers.
I
Okay.
did forget until I was like I did Ice Rod Cave and nothing was there. I was like, wait, what am I missing? But fortunately, it took me like 15 seconds to remember the flipper trick. So I was like, which was fortunate because there have been times where I've totally forgotten that. But yeah, I did temporarily forget about that.
Yeah, at least you remembered later, so that's
Yeah.
good. All right. Well, thank you once again to both of our runners, Ricky and Khaja, for putting on an excellent show here today, and best of luck to you in whatever bracket you end up in.
Thank
In
you,
the-
and thank you for the restream.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for that we're gonna have to thank Amarith. I didn't ask how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. And of course, I want to thank Elias here for tracking the items on the screen. So thank you both. Thank you to both of those glorious people for helping us out here. And of course, my co-commentator, Dannymusic, for coming along for the ride. Thank you
Yeah, it's
so
my
much.
pleasure. It's a pleasure commentating alongside you, DrBobtastic, and thanks for doing a fantastic job as well. And we're seeing plugs in the chat. If you're interested in learning more about doing Rando, check out the Go Mode Podcast Discord. Check out the Go Mode Podcast. It comes out every other week and is all about a Link to the Past randomizer, having interviews, guides, tutorials, all kinds of content for your randomizer needs.
Absolutely. And with that, I think it's about time to wrap it up. So I will just say, good night to everybody. I've been DrBobtastic, and I'll see you later.